It's later than.
For the next step, I filled in the gaps between the inner and outer collar and the inner corners with clear silicone to give them a nice seal. While doing so, I skimmed away the extra silicone so there wouldn't be any extra sitting around after I let it dry. After it did dry, I reattached the lid with wood screws, not the original screws. Make sure to use wood screws. And then I repeated the same process on the lid by applying the caulk around the border of the top piece of wood and the lid, and again skimming it away the extra in order to prevent myself from having to pick it away after it dried. I'm not done with it yet. I still have to, obviously fill my kegs, put together my my beer lines. I already put together my my gas lines. And I'm using these because I'm not buying the faucets right away. I'm using these. I cut up the saw, like a 1-inch wooden dowel, and I stuck it in the holes to block them out. And I did it on the other side too. And I have my temperature controller all ready to go, and my CO2 tank all put in. As you see, I'm keeping it on the outside, so I'll just show you quickly what the inside looked like. So here's the inside. You see, we have the wooden pegs in there as well, and I piped in my gas line where I have the CO2 regulators there, looking all nice. I decided not to put an extra piece of wood in because I thought it just looked so good like that, with a nice stain on the inside and the gas coming right through. So some people put an extra piece of wood there, but I just sat it on this lip and then just screwed it in from the top part, so it's like leaning on, and then when I get more, I'll just attach it the same way, and the gas lines will be nice and hanging down from there. As you see, I have them hooked up already. Hey guys, so it's finally time to pour a beer from my keg. It's gonna be my Interborough Brown Ale. So it's only been on CO2 on gas for a couple days. The first, a little more than half of the 46 hours or 47 hours I was at 20 psi, and when I checked it about 25 hours, it was pretty carbonated, not there yet, but close. So before I went to sleep that night, a few hours later, I cranked it up to 30 psi so that I could check it again before I go to my homebrew club meeting. So that's what we're doing now. So I'm going to take you through the step-by-step process of testing the carbonation, and then, of course, once I have it in a glass, I'll tell you what I think, and then I'm going to be filling a growler with it, because when I went to Bitter and Esters to meet Sean Torres, the president of Pour Standards, who I brewed the beer with, to pick up my keg, because he filled it for me and brought it back, we built together, me and the staff at Bitter and Esters built a growler filling beer line, which is basically a picnic tap with a piece of thicker beverage hose and a hose clamp on it. So if I like the carbonation, and I think it's good enough for now to bring to my homebrew club meeting just for people to taste, and of course I'll warn them that it's only been on gas for 2 days, then I'll fill a growler, and of course I'll show you that. But I just go through the steps of testing it, and then we'll be back, like I said, for the rest. So the first step, as you guys see here in my Keezer, is to detach the gas line from the keg, and then once that's done, you degas the head space of the keg, and then reattach the gas line, and then go down to the primary regulator with the gas still open on the secondary, and turn down the gas to serving pressure, which is going to be 5 to 6, as I said, 5 to 6 psi, and pour yourself some beer. Alright guys, as you see here, I have my glass of beer. It's pretty well carbonated. From what I can see in the appearance, it's definitely more carbonated than it was yesterday. So it should have enough carbonation to bring to the homebrew club meeting. As you see, it has a nice head, which is pretty tiny bubbles. The aroma is pretty much the same as yesterday, very milk chocolatey, a little bit of fruitiness. Very much a brown ale. I was expecting to be a little more roasty, but it's definitely a nice reddish brown color. Definitely not, definitely not black like a stout. It's definitely a reddish brown like a brown ale is supposed to be. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. Definitely more carbonation on the tongue than it was yesterday. Very creamy from the oatmeal. Definitely not. A little bit of a carbonic bite, but not much, not a ton. But there's a ton of CO2 in there when I tilt the glass. I don't know if you guys can see that, but definitely. It's definitely pretty good. Now I just have to decide if I want to bring my 64-ounce growler or my 32. I think I'm going to go for the 64 just because it'll be easier to fill. But overall I think it's pretty good. Alright, so I dialed it down to about 3 or 4 psi in the whole process as I did before, as I said I would do. So now I'm going to put the growler filler tube all the way into the growler and slowly fill the growler. And I should note that I sanitized the growler and put it in the Keezer for an hour or so before I start filming all this filling, because it's good. It holds the CO2 better when it's cold already. So of course I'll put it in my fridge for a few minutes before I leave to go to my homebrew club meeting. And as it gets to the top, you want to slowly bring the tube out so that you can cap on foam. And the foam should rise up and out and not make a mess, but you want to cap on foam. So I'm going to spray my lid again, and then as you see I'm capping on foam. I might actually try to foam it a touch more just to make sure I have everything good. Alright, I made a little mess there, but it's a pretty full growler. It's basically all the way up to the top. It might be a little bit more than 64 ounces, but capped on foam. We're all good. A nice chilled growler, so I'm going to put it back down into the Keezer until I'm ready for it. Alright?